Howdy, y'all, and welcome to Liberty Libations number 58. My name is Jake Green, joined as usual by Mr. Alden, Hardee, Mr. Zane, Placie, and Zach Varnell. What's everybody drinking tonight?
Water.
dry January for Alden, so he's not drinking anything.
But is it just like tap water, or you have something like fancy?
I'm sure
like
it was tap water somewhere that I paid for, but it's bubbles and it's lime. I don't know.
Love it. Zane, what do you got?
I think I've actually had that brand before, and of all the flavored water, like most flavored water just tastes like hint of lime or something, or
hint of
next to a fruit truck at some point. But I think that kind of it like actually has fruit juice in it, so
it's a little better. It's not just the ghost of lime.
I've got Firemaker Brewing Company American Wheat Beer.
Why are these names so long? That is just such a mouthful. Come on.
All the good names are taken. I mean, it's just like bands these days. You can't just like be clean. You got to be like, we're Two Door Cinema Club. Real long stuff.
We are slap your grandmother hard with a wet chicken.
So Grumpy's commenting from Rumble tonight, y'all. Apparently he doesn't like the setup on Rumble as much as he does on YouTube. Grumpy. Sadly, I'm not in control of how the comment section is on Rumble, but
there's a couple things I don't like about it. But you know what I do like is that there's not. What did I say? 841 words that you can't say. So
So Alden just informed me that there are a list of 841 words that you will get dinged for on YouTube,
according to this one particular article. I don't know.
Which is
we're gonna say them all tonight.
Yeah, at some point we're just going to set up a podcast where we do
2 hours
except say the word.
And it'll take 2 hours.
The list has gotten a lot longer since the 7 words you can't say on television.
Right? Yeah, a little bit. But y'all, we are now able to bring in comments from Rumble, which is sweet.
Welcome.
Zach Varnell already commented, woo Rumble. So I would highly encourage y'all to go over there and follow us on Rumble. Watch these streams on Rumble, because that is going to be the primary way that we use these podcasts in the future. Because
I'm sure soon enough,
at some point we're not going to be on YouTube. We'll still be able to do Instagram and Facebook until the day that we can't. So, and I'm sure that day will come as well. So go over to Rumble and get in those comment sections.
Tell us how dumb we are. We love that.
Yes, we do. We had that like 2 weeks ago. The guy wouldn't stop talking about how dumb we were.
I remember stop not wrong. Back at him, which probably made it even worse.
Probably did. All right, y'all. We are. What is it? Oh my gosh! It's next week. We are.
Is it really?
Having our convention here in LP, Georgia, down in Conyers. To get your tickets, you can go to lpgeorgia.com. It is the 26th through the 28th. Yeah, 8 days from now. Wow, man, that got here quick. $85. I'm not sure if there are rooms still available at the hotel that we blocked off, but we've got speakers like Spike Cohen, Shane Hazel, who might be coming on tonight, Adam Nutter, Tower Gang Pod, and the schedule is now live on the website. Let's see. A lot of great events, a lot of great people speaking. We got Range Day with Spike Cohen from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I think there might be 2 tickets left. Grumpy, correct me if I'm wrong. Nope. Yep, 2 tickets left. Then we have a meet and greet at the VFW Lounge where everyone's welcome. Then we have dinner with Spike.
By the way, that Range Day has been upgraded to Range Day with Spike and Chase Oliver.
Oh,
because he's going to be there.
All right. How about that?
I mean, he's a guest. He's paying to be there, so I feel a little bad, marketing off of him. But I don't think he would mind.
No, he paid for marketing. It's just like him paying for a promotion. Let's see. Then on Saturday we have You Are the Power, which is Spike Cohen's organization, from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Shane Hazel speaking from 10 to 11. Elizabeth Gallimore from 11 to 12. Then we got lunch, and then we got Spike Cohen. From 1 to 2, followed by a 7-way presidential debate from 2:30 to 5 p.m. hosted by Brad Binkley and Clint Russell. Clint Russell of Liberty Lock Pod, right? That's his
Yep.
And Brad Binkley of Freedom Act Radio. And then after Spin Room with the Tower Gang Pod. And then after that, we got friggin' live comedy show for Mr. Adam Nutter. It's going to be fantastic. And then Sunday is the day that no one in the public wants to come to, and no one in the LP actually wants to come to either, but we all have to go.
Don't say things like that.
Some people love it. Not us.
It's really too bad we couldn't schedule in a live Liberty Libations.
I might have a room going where we do some interviews that we then show on the podcast later on. We'll see how it goes.
At the last convention then for a presidential year, that was happening all over the place. There were people there doing independent media. That's definitely encouraged. Show up, get interviews with the candidates, get interviews with different people in the party. There's gonna be all sorts of people there with interesting things to say, and it'd be good content for your YouTube channel or for local news or whatever.
Heck yeah. It's gonna be great.
There'll be people there with interesting things to say, and a lot of other people.
Zane, which category do you fall in?
I'm not specifying.
Good self-awareness. All right. Well, let's go to our first story of the night. What do we got first, Zach?
One sec.
No worries. I'm not as all right. So today is a sad day. It marks the 8-year anniversary of the shooting of Daniel Shaver. For those who don't know, Daniel Shaver was shot in the hallway of a hotel while crawling on the ground, trying to obey the instructions of the cops, who were very imprecise and confusing with how they were telling him to. There's video of it. You can watch the entire thing online. It's horrendous. The guy is weeping, begging them not to shoot him. And
crying for his parents.
And he reaches down to pull up his pants, which are falling down as he's scooting along the ground. And they say that they thought he was reaching for a gun, shot him dead almost instantly. And later on, the cop was acquitted. He was not convicted of manslaughter, which is absolutely absurd. I mean, it's just one in a long line of terrible cop shootings. So I don't know. Alden, did you see that back in the day? Did you know that one?
I had to brush up on it because the name was familiar, and I had forgotten most of the details of it, and I forgot the whole original call about like the pellet rifle or something like that someone mistook for a actual rifle or whatever. And so it started with misinformation on that, and then I forgot about the whole I forgot there was a video for this that you could see.
Like he was a pest control guy, right? So he had a pellet rifle and was just like showing somebody.
Yeah. And someone said he was pointing it out the window, shooting, like acting like he was shooting things, which doesn't seem to be true at all. And also when he got raided, he was drunk because he was staying in a hotel, and he was.
What else do you do in a hotel?
Exactly. And so if the cops had just taken their time and not been deathly afraid of someone who maybe might have a gun, it would have been a much more peaceful ending to that, and one that wasn't just wrought with tragedy. I mean, the dude is 26 years old. His parents settled with the city for $1.5 million, and his wife settled with the city for $8 million, which doesn't really help all that much in the long, in the short
term. Obviously, it's none of the individuals in the government that are having to pay that out of their pocket. It's just either if the city has liability insurance, or if not, they're going hand in hand to the taxpayers. So, I mean, it's glad that there was some recognition of wrongdoing, but even that's kind of an empty victory.
I was going to say,
if you watch the video, it's. The cop is having this guy play a twisted version of Simon Says and Red Light, Green Light, where he's shouting at him, "Stop, go, get on the ground, get up, put hands behind your head." And all these crazy things where you know, people say, well, if you just obey the cop, then you won't have a problem. Well, try obeying a cop that's yelling contradictory orders at you while pointing a gun at you. And even if you're stone cold, even if you're stone cold sober, I highly doubt that most people could do that. And then later on, you know, if you're drunk, which this is America, you have a right to be drunk. If you're in your own hotel room, I mean.
Yep.
But you know, then you're completely screwed.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say you have a right to be drunk literally anywhere that's not on where you're not trespassing, as long as you're not hurting anybody else.
Yeah.
Even then, the problem is that you're trespassing.
Yeah, exactly.
I was trying to avoid going into libertarian theory rabbit holes, but we can go there if you want.
Why are you avoiding going into what we're literally here to talk about? Grumpy says, I like the idea of officers keeping their own liability insurance instead of taxpayers paying. Interesting. But then would you get a cop that would just pay like out his butt for that insurance so that he could go around shooting people?
You couldn't really have that, because if cops were required to have it, they would just demand to be paid more to cover it,
to balance it out or something.
I mean, this is why, like, if you had private security agencies that were employing cops instead of the state, that is actually what you would have, where if a privately employed cop did something wrong, then, you know, the company would have liability insurance and they would cover it in order to provide restitution to whoever was harmed that shouldn't have been. But the key thing there is, if you're a private company paying for insurance, you actually care if your insurance premiums are high or low.
That's like, what I was thinking.
If you have like fire insurance for your company's building, you know, you might build it out of concrete and not out of wood to reduce your premium. This is, you know, if you take risk management classes in college like I did, you go over tons of ways that, you know, insurance companies work with other companies to train them up on, you know, how do we reduce losses so that everybody is, you know, having fewer losses and paying less in insurance premium. So actually a lot of, you know, society could be arranged with the help of insurance companies in the absence of a state, with the idea being that an insurance company is really a concentration of people that have specialized knowledge in how do we prevent losses from happening. And because it's in their interest to, you know, if they're having to pay out fewer claims, then they're making more money, and people are having less interruptions and people are paying less in premium. And there's a lot of things that the government currently does that could be handled by, you know, these consortiums of...
To Grumpy's point, he was just talking about, you know, the cops being, you know, motivated to let someone go that's causing more trouble. Did this person that shot this guy we're talking about, did he stay on the force, like, because he was acquitted or whatever? And so
I'm almost certain.
One of the things I find most disgusting too is that on his gun, on his dust cover for his AR, he had, like, I guess a little sticker that said "Get fucked."
Oh, that's
I'm like,
cute.
I don't know. I just feel like if I had car insurance or any of this crap and I had a bumper sticker that said, like, I'm going to run you off the road, that may be used against me if I run somebody off the road.
I mean, this is well known in the insurance world that even if you have like a red car compared to other colors of car, you're going to pay a higher premium because people that buy red cars are usually higher risk drivers. So my point with my diatribe from before is that if you're a private company and care how much you're paying in premium, you'd probably take care not to hire people that are just going to shoot people in cold blood like this guy.
Yeah.
Where if you're the state, you couldn't care less who you're employing because you're not personally on the hook for it.
I take issue with the red car thing a little because when you're poor and you go to a used car lot, you get the car that's fucking there, like that's in your price range. I got an orange car for 15 years, and I did not want an orange car.
Was awesome.
It was cool, but I didn't like.
It was iconic, man. I'll always remember.
What kind of car?
It was a Honda Element. I had an orange square car
Nice.
for
Yeah.
a decade and a half. But like, I didn't like choose it. It was just that was the one that was there. You know, like
It's just
Anyway.
statistics, dog. Facts don't care about your feelings.
it's not my feeling. It's my wallet, man. Facts don't care
Okay,
about my money.
folks.
Okay, so it turns out Brailsford was actually fired.
Oh, he was okay.
Later that month, citing several policy violations and unsatisfactory performance.
Yeah, I
Oh,
imagine.
really?
Yeah, he engraved
Yeah.
his patrol rifle with the phrases "You're fucked" and
That's it.
"Malon labe," a Greek expression meaning "come and take it," which whatever.
Which makes no sense from a cop.
Yeah,
You're literally a cop.
Who's gonna?
You're
the one
doing
who's
the
going to
taking.
yes,
Come
exactly.
and
You're gonna
Yeah.
be the one. Yeah.
He'd
Maybe those were his
also been-
instructions.
Yeah.
He had also been investigated for body slamming a teenager during an arrest. And then 4 months after the shooting, the guy who was shouting the instructions to Shaver retired and immigrated to the Philippines. Quite a move.
Sound like a couple great
As
guys.
you
Like,
Yeah. It looks like Brailsford filed for bankruptcy in 2018, 2 years later. And he's been working for a steel company in Glendale, Arizona.
yeah, which is still the easy way out. If any of us shot somebody like that, we'd be like bargaining for cigarettes right now in prison. So
100%. Yeah. I mean, it's wild, man. It's wild. All right. Well, one link I didn't send to you, Zach, I'm going to go ahead and put up on the screen. Our next, unless somebody has something else to say about this topic, anybody want to continue on? Okay, cool. This will be a short one. I just wanted to note that Trump basically dominated the Iowa caucus. It was many, many interesting things, and we'll actually get to a clip from Trump later on in this episode. But anybody have any thoughts on what happened in Iowa this past week?
I mean, people seem to be surprised by this, or at least some people are acting like it wasn't 100% expected.
Yeah.
It's like, wasn't this obvious to everyone that this was going to happen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it was so clear in like so many of the polls that were taken of the Republican people running. He was winning by he had like 60-something% support. It's like how is this shocking to anybody? It blows my mind that people think that somehow he's going to lose the nomination.
I was watching Monday Night Football, and during halftime, they had a special report about Donald Trump winning. I'm like, boring. Back to the football, please.
yeah, he won by a greater margin than any other Republican in a contested Iowa caucus ever.
Wow.
But you know what the takeaway from MSNBC was that almost 50% of Republicans didn't choose him. So it's like he still won by over 50%, the greatest margin that any Republicans ever gotten in a contested Iowa caucus. And they're just like, well, almost half didn't like him. They chose somebody else. So
right.
What a silly framing.
And I think Vivek dropped out before the actual voting, correct? Like it was.
No, I
Did
thought
he
he
drop
dropped
out?
out right after.
Did he drop out right
actually
after?
He got 8%, I think, which was actually pretty respectable.
It's not bad considering who he is and like how new he is.
Yeah.
I think he took 4th.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I like him way more than anybody else in that party. So
For being someone that I feel like most people didn't know his name until recently, that's not bad.
No, nobody did.
Yeah, I didn't until he started running. So
well, Trump likes him now. They're all chanting VP at a speech.
Is there talk of okay?
Yeah.
How would you feel about that?
He's been like jockeying for that position or for something in Trump's administration. He's been defending Trump every step of the campaign. He's been making sure that it is known which, to be fair, I disagree with how they're treating Trump and trying to get him off the ballot too. But he's the first.
But you're
one
saying
to
it's like
known.
flattery a little bit, so that he's considered.
It's
by
probably
Trump?
it's over the top a little bit.
Yeah.
Every now and then.
I think that was the point of his run.
Yeah.
I mean, one of them. I'm sure he had multiple goals. One of them, he got his message out there. I think he did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
But then another one is I think he wanted to audition for Trump's VP or at least something in the administration if Trump were to win again.
Well, yeah.
I kind of don't.
Go ahead, Alden.
I don't know how I feel about it. I just don't want Vivek's name to get, like tarnished by being associated with Trump so much, because I want to learn more from him. But like so far, I kind of like some of the things that he has to say as far as at least like, a Republican nominee goes. And
yeah.
I feel like as soon as he gets into the media meat grinder, if he's like on a ticket with Trump, then at least half of people will just never give him the chance that he may have deserved,
Yeah, but I think that was always going to be the case. Like, I don't know what the process would be to get people on the left to even consider somebody on the right, but that'd be a decades long process.
Being with Trump is not the way, but I hear you that I don't know what it is. But
see, my thought is he wasn't running for president this term.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's running for president next term because Trump has to be a one-term president now. And so if he's his VP, he is the next in line. And so in 4 years, he's going to be the front runner.
Mm-hmm.
And I am pretty confident that that's what's going to happen, that we're going to see a Vivek 2028, which is going to be super interesting. Because he does listen to libertarians, and he used to be a libertarian. So he has some tendencies. I did a whole episode on Free Georgia podcast about what the things he gets wrong, or like one of the things he got wrong about libertarianism. And so he's not perfect, but he does tend to speak harsh truths a lot, which is nice.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The appeal of Vivek the entire time has been, imagine if Trump had ever actually read a book. Like, imagine if you had somebody with a similar worldview as Trump, but actually had plans to get things accomplished instead of just showing up to the White House and having no idea what's going on and being manipulated by his advisors at every turn.
Yeah, no, that would be Vivek. Yeah.
The difference, what Grumpy brought up with, I guess, Nikki Haley or whatever being rumored as the front runner, like the difference in just how that ticket feels with the two of them is, I don't know how much it matters. Like when you have Trump as the main guy, but I am not interested in Haley at all. But
yeah, if you have someone just constantly begging and talking to you and like whispering in your ear, let's go to war, like at some point that's just going to seep in. I don't know. She's a horrible human being. That would be
not a fan.
Disastrous ticket. Brian says, if I have to try to predict Trump, I'm guessing Kristi Noem. I would love Kristi Noem.
Oh, that'd be good. Dark horse candidate.
Yeah, she was the best governor in 2020. So yeah, huge fan of Kristi Noem. She brings up Bitcoin like when she talks every now and then. She wants to limit the Fed at the very least, maybe in the Fed. I don't remember what she said about the Fed, but yeah, she's an interesting. I would love that. That'd
be a lot better than Nikki Haley.
Anything paper bag would be better than Nikki Haley.
I agree.
All right. What we got
Did
next?
You guys know that there was Libertarian Iowa caucuses?
No.
Exactly.
There was. That's unfortunate. But yeah, there was Iowa caucuses for Libertarians too. I guess every county in Iowa had their Libertarian affiliate conduct a caucus. It didn't look like it was huge, but it did happen. Also, there was, like 18 feet of snow. So I don't know what that's like in Iowa, if that's normal for them or not, but I probably wouldn't have gone out when it's for the Libertarians, it was a non-binding poll basically, because everything we do is decided at conventions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, it happened. People went and actually caucused for the different Libertarian candidates, and Chase Oliver won. So.
Interesting.
Okay.
Huh. Yeah. I mean, he has the most
He's been
name
campaigning
recognition.
a lot there.
Yeah, and he has the most name recognition of any of the people running.
and he was at the Iowa Fair. Like this picture right here that we're seeing is him at the political soapbox. I think it's like the Des Moines Register, like the thing they sponsor and they do every year. It's supposed to be this big deal. I didn't know about it before last year, but I think he was the first libertarian to ever speak on the political soapbox. And then he's the first libertarian to win an Iowa caucus, because I think this is the first one.
Well, okay, right, yeah.
Wow, well, you got to give it to him. He really hustles, and he knows how to market himself. Like he does all that really well.
Yeah.
So bravo. Yeah, and I just don't really follow other states' libertarian parties. There's enough to do in this state that I can't keep track of others. Like I'm between this and Montana, and that's about all I can. That's more than I can handle. So, Grumpy says he got 40%, which is huge. Wow, bravo. All right.
Dang.
So yeah.
Among, was it like 6 or 7?
7. Yeah.
Candidates. Yeah.
So that's
actually steep. Yeah.
Yeah, that's impressive. So if you want to go shoot guns with Chase Oliver, you can do so next Friday. From 10 to 2. So yeah.
lpgeorgia.com/spike.
There we go. All right. This next one, I specifically did it so I could hear Zane's thoughts on it, but Alden and Zach will probably have some things to say about it too. So let's play it.
It is my estimation, and this is a controversial hypothesis, that capitalism has already ended. Suppose this was 1776, and we were in London, and we were having a discussion about the state of the world. Now, everywhere we looked in 1776, we would see feudalism. We would see feudalism in the House of Lords, in the House of Commons, in government, in every local council around the world, on the land. We would see peasants, we would see, aristocrats. And yet, we do know that, don't we? Already, feudalism had died and was being gradually but fast being replaced by something called capitalism. The magnificent shift of power from the owners of land to the owners of machinery, of steamships, of electrical grids later on, and the shift of wealth creation from rent accumulation to profit making. My view is that we are already experiencing a similar transformation. Wherever we look, we see capital. We see markets. We see capitalists doing extremely well. And yet I think that already we have undergone a transformation to something like feudalism, but a very technologically advanced version of it. Markets have been replaced by platforms. So Amazon.com is not a market. It looks like a market, but it's more like a digital fiefdom.
All right. Zane, do you have any initial thoughts?
I wish I had watched this clip before coming on the show, because there's a lot to go through here. I guess, like, I was getting ready to be all really mad because I thought that he was going to be saying capitalism is ending, and that's really awesome. But what he's really just making a historical case about what is happening rather than what should happen or what's good or bad. And I mean, I hope that we're not transitioning away from capitalism, but I can understand where he's coming from. I think that he misdiagnosed the problem there at the end.
Okay.
Where instead of thinking about government power or government power in relation to large corporations in that kind of nexus where they're both cooperating, but you could say that it was kind of like corporate fascism. Instead of going there, and it was a short clip and it seemed like it was going to continue, so maybe he did get there eventually. Yeah. But his idea of Amazon not being a market, I think that it displays a common tendency of people to see a very large corporation or a monopoly and believe that means that it's completely immune from competitive forces, when actually it's not. It's subject to the same competitive forces that everybody else in the market is. It's just that they're doing something that nobody else can do. Like, the reason why Amazon is so big is because everybody likes buying stuff off of Amazon, because you can't beat free shipping. Whenever I have to pay for shipping now, I get really angry because I'm so accustomed to getting free shipping. And that's something that everybody else in the who's a retailer has had to come around on because Amazon was able to do it so well.
Mm-hmm.
And 20 years ago, Amazon was, I don't remember exactly when it was founded, but it was like selling books, and that was the only thing that it did.
Yeah.
And it came in and disrupted an industry that 20 years ago there were big players, and I'm sure somebody could have pointed 20 years ago and said, "Oh, Barnes and Noble is a huge corporation. It's more, you can't say that Barnes and Noble operates in a market. It's really a fiefdom." But obviously that's a ridiculous take. And in 20 years from now, I would not be surprised if something else came along and dislodged Amazon from its position. It's not that there's something inherent about what Amazon does that makes it immune to competition. It's just that at this point in time, it's doing what it does so well that everybody wants to use it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I found it to be a very interesting thought. I liked that he didn't, like what you were saying, didn't take a position of this is a good thing. He just was trying to follow a trend in history and kind of relate it to today, which is interesting. I also found it interesting that he thought it was going to like a digital style of feudalism, which is a weird, to me, that just seems like a weird transition to go back to an old system within a brand new like style of technology.
I mean, everything goes through cycles, basically. Anyway, whether it's fashion, and we make that joke all the time, or like Plato talked about, the cycle of governments, and you go from like totalitarian kind of dictatorship, and then you go into like democracy, where you get people are tired of that, and then they want to vote for people, and then eventually he says you vote for a very totalitarian type person, according to him, and then you end up starting kind of from the top of the wheel again, or whatever.
Right.
And in this case, like I've made the joke kind of before, where I'm like, we're just peasants with cell phones, you know what I mean? Like to appease the masses, so we don't get our pitchforks out because we're just like distracted all the time, or whatever. But I've never made the actual like fiefdom remark. But
yeah, I guess the claim would be that Amazon has some kind of power or control over everyone who has Amazon Prime. But I mean, I guess if you really wanted to get really philosophical, you could make that argument. But Amazon doesn't have power over me. I'm the one who controls whether I'm subscribed to Amazon Prime or not. The way that large corporations get power over me is by getting in cahoots with the state. And a lot of times you see big corporations doing that. But Amazon, just by itself, might control a lot of the market, but that's only because all of the consumers have all decided that we're going to patronize them, and through all of those decisions, that's how it gets its place in the market.
Well, yeah, and not to mention, like Amazon isn't the one that sells all of these products. Like it's a bunch of smaller businesses that put their products on Amazon voluntarily. So,
right.
Like
that's where like the platform thing kind of comes in more.
Yeah, like
is that
they do have their own products now.
Kind of.
That's been one of the big complaints about them, is that like, let's say you sell like a budget computer mouse and that you're just killing it in sales. Amazon will see that and be like, well, we could easily make our own cheaper, so we'll make our own and screw this guy out of whatever. I mean, that's competition. They use that's what happens. But
the metadata and the analytics to like see where the easiest money is to be made, and then they will push out the competitors.
Yeah, they have done that, but they've also like made deals with some brands that basically say, we're going to put our label on this and pay you for it. And those
people really? So some of the Amazon Basic stuff is
somebody else's products. So it's not all produced by Amazon. They just slap their name on it to make it seem like that and grow their brand.
Also, a lot of critics of Amazon try to have it both ways, where people complain about price gouging, but then when Amazon actually introduces cheaper products, then they'll get mad at Amazon for driving out the competition. It's like, what? You can only hold one of those two positions.
I don't know if it's still the case, but for years they weren't making a profit. Like they were losing money on purpose. Like they had tons of venture capital money, and they were losing money knowing that nobody could compete with them, so that when those people are no longer competing with them, they can then raise their prices if they need to.
Right.
That doesn't work. That's been disproven so many times.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so I guess
Well, it doesn't work without government's help, it seems
we go.
like. And
Yeah.
Amazon seems to have had it plenty of times. Especially during COVID, when, like Bob's furniture store down the street where 3 people might be inside the building, they weren't allowed to be open, but you could order a couch off Amazon or something.
Yeah.
Right.
That's actually a really good point, because that's like the biggest gift to Amazon that you could possibly give is forbid everyone from shopping anywhere else besides Amazon. But on the other hand, I can't really blame unless it comes out that Amazon was like lobbying for lockdowns, which honestly I would not be surprised if they were. But I can't really blame them for making a big profit off of it, because if we're stipulating that we lived in a world that had lockdowns, I would prefer that people be able to buy stuff off of Amazon than not be able to buy anything at all.
Yeah, fair.
It's like a lot of people at the time were talking about, oh, we need to enact an excess profits tax because Amazon has been making too much money because everybody has been shopping there during lockdown. It's like, well, first of all, if you really thought that, you should have let all the other stores be open. But second of all, again, assuming that Amazon wasn't, lobbying for the lockdowns, which I don't know, maybe they were, but I'm sure they had people working overtime and bending over backwards to meet the increased demand. So I'm not going to get in a tizzy about them making excess profits, because that's exactly what a company is supposed to do.
Yeah. Well, and then when you're handed a situation to make the profits by a decision in government, and then this tax would be another decision by government, you know what I mean? It's like, if you just remove it from the beginning of this chain of horrible failed decisions, then, we wouldn't have to keep just like, well, let's let governments solve this problem that it caused in a domino effect for fucking years.
Right.
I'm really tired of that.
Yeah, that's fair. So I don't know. What's the verdict? Do we think capitalism is dying, Zane?
I hope not.
I think we don't have capitalism
the
same way that we think in a purist sense. I don't think we have capital. I think capitalism has been interwoven with other types of things, like with the state in general. And I don't think that it's fair to say capitalism is dying.
Capitalism, that kind of
thing. Yeah. I don't think that we have a pure capitalism, as much as I'd prefer to see that over what we have. But
we've had a mixed economy for over 100 years at this point.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember that every step towards capitalism, or every element of that we still have, is what provides us prosperity, and every step towards socialism is what provides degradation and despair. And the fact that we still have anything good at all, I would say, is evidence that capitalism is not completely departed.
Yeah, fair. All right, y'all. It's that time. All freaking right. Fat Rat Unity playing. Sorry. Our music. There we go.
Humongous Fungus.
Humongous Fungus is the final Libations trivia. Our categories this week are This Day in History, Cold Snap, and Humongous Fungus. The rules are, everybody knows the rules, but skip this. Audience, you're allowed to participate. Y'all are on a delay, sadly, but if y'all end up getting the question right before our guys do, then you can point. You win. Let's see. Scoreboard. Zane has won twice, and no one else has won. Okay, round.
Your audio is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's glitching in and out.
There is no reason why this should happen every time, but whatever reason it does whenever we
When
switch
we
to trivia.
Go to trivia, yeah.
Is it better now?
Yeah.
It's better.
What do you do to fix it?
I literally hit the power button on my mic twice.
Turn it on and off and on again. Yeah, it's like the
like
IT crowd. Like
classic trick.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 1. On this day in 1778, who became the first European to travel to the Hawaiian Islands? Zane.
James Cook.
James Cook
Nice.
is freaking correct, and we're off to a terrible
name
start.
a single European.
What's a European?
On this day in 1975, which singer had his first #1 pop hit titled Mandy?
Mandy?
1975. Zane.
Captain James Cook.
Incorrect. I feel like the
It was a
audience might
banger.
end up getting this one.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the song
Can you
Mandy.
repeat the question?
On this day in 1975, which singer had his first #1 pop hit titled Mandy?
Prince.
Nope. Alden?
I mean, in the 70s?
Yeah.
I don't know a song named Mandy. A solo artist?
Yeah, solo artist.
I mean, I have no idea.
And even the audience isn't getting it.
I'm not good with song names, honestly.
It's not a song name. It's
It's an artist.
yeah, I got
Oh,
you.
yeah, I
But
see.
No, Mandy. I mean, like, I'm not good at recognizing song names. Like,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I just like pick the
I'm
album.
not
and
good at
put it on.
recognizing decades. I don't even
Yeah.
know. Like
75.
All right.
Like, what is that? Yeah.
All right. The answer is Barry Manilow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not really into.
Elvis Costello is not that old. Some quack. All right. Next question. On this day in 1950, China recognizes which nation and agrees to assist them militarily? Zane.
Cuba.
Incorrect. Zach.
Iran.
Incorrect. Alden.
Pretty sure they were
drop to
already
you.
recognized.
Do you say recognizes them? And-
Recognizes which nation and agrees to assist them militarily?
Oh man, I mean Taiwan.
Incorrect.
Yeah,
Oh.
no.
Zach.
Burma?
No. Zane.
North Korea.
Incorrect. Also, somebody chimed in before we answered. I'm going to give it to the audience. Barry Manilow.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Yeah,
Alden.
South Korea.
No. No. Audience gets it again.
Dang
is
it, that was-
Vietnam.
I was gonna say that, and then I was like,
Ryan.
let me make a joke out of it. Like,
Technically
oh, man.
speaking, the Democratic Republic of Vietnam.
Ah,
But
yes.
I'll give it to you, Brian. Bravo. All right.
Dang it! I shouldn't have
Question.
tried to be funny.
Question number 4. On this day in 1985, which famous directing duo released their debut film Blood Simple? Zach.
Crap. Whoever made The Matrix? The Krasinski brothers?
Incorrect. Zane.
Though Wachowski, well, I guess if we want to be really politically correct and not be thrown off YouTube, we should really say the Wachowski sisters, but it was the Wachowski brothers at the time.
Incorrect. Alden.
The Cohen sisters. I'm kidding, brothers.
I'm giving it to audience and Alden.
I've been waving my hand the whole time. I just
I know. The audience chimed in. Two people chimed in the
Oh,
audience
okay.
before.
I don't know who those are. Is that Spike Cohen and his brother?
What? Joel and Ethan Cohen? No Country for Old Men?
Yeah.
Burn
You
After
know there's-
Reading?
I've seen it.
Do you
I
know
don't know.
there's
Not
no
in-
music in the whole movie of No Country for Old Men?
Dude, of course I know there's no music.
I did not.
I'm not talking
enjoy
to
it,
you.
by the way.
What's
You
that?
didn't
Zach?
like that movie?
No.
Oh my god, there's something missing.
back.
Not
There's an organ
sophisticated
missing
at
from
all.
you.
Go back and watch
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Have you seen
No.
Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Okay, I did like
Fantastic.
that. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Coen Brothers.
Fantastic.
Go watch Burn After Reading. You'll lose your daggone mind. That movie is so stinking fun.
I don't want Fox, goddammit. I'm a Dapper Dan man.
So good. All right. Question number 5. On this day in 1871 in Europe, which empire was established? Alden.
The German Empire.
German Empire is correct.
Oh, nice.
Bravo. On this day in 2002, the Civil War inside which African country ended? Zach.
Crap.
This is where we just name every African nation except the right one again. We always do this.
Yeah, I lost it.
All
I
right,
never
Zach,
had it
lost
truly, but I lost it.
Mali.
I got it again.
Incorrect. Zach.
Sudan.
No. Alden.
Dang it.
The Ivory Coast.
This is so good. Incorrect. Zach.
Sierra Leone.
Sierra Leone.
Whoa.
is
Wow.
correct.
Whoa.
Bravo.
That was very far down my
Good
list of
job, Zach.
guesses.
I had a friend from Sierra Leone, so
Okay.
that's
Oh,
the
nice.
only other one. I
Did
was
you phone
prepared
them?
to-
Is that your phone a friend? Like,
Yeah.
On this day in 1986, what national holiday was celebrated for the very first time? Zane.
MLK Day.
Not a hard one considering we just had it.
yeah.
Question number 8. On this day in 1943, what everyday household good was banned by the USA during World War II? Zach.
Crap. Gold.
Incorrect. Zane.
Nylon.
Incorrect. Alden.
Is this the bread, the sliced bread thing?
It's pre-sliced.
What?
Yeah.
How did you know that?
It's
Because it's wild. Like that's it, once
Yeah.
you learn that fact, it's hard to forget that one.
yeah, because
I don't know if anybody's noticed.
bags or whatever, like, and they were running short
Uh.
of everything. But what were you saying?
My
Zach?
new strategy is to just try to be faster than Zane, but that
Yeah,
means
yeah.
that I often do not know the answer whatsoever.
Well, it's working.
You got the
so
last
far.
one. It just took you 2 times. Like.
Wait, did you get the last one?
Well, he got the Sierra Leone one, but
Oh yeah, I gave that to Zane. Whoops, my bad.
it's
That's
just a force
understandable.
of habit. Yeah.
My bad. There's 2 Z's. On this day in 1911, Eugene Ely performed what military maneuver on the battleship Pennsylvania for the first time? Zach.
A flank.
Incorrect. Alden.
Sorry. that was hilarious. Oh
Alden.
my god, I love trivia. Landing a plane on a ship or something.
Landing on the flight deck. Correct.
Nice.
But I love a flank.
I love the flank. They flanked him. Yeah, that's great.
Oh man.
On
Never
this-
been done before.
On this day in 1886, England formalized a modern version of what sport that had already been played in ancient times? Zane.
Soccer.
Incorrect. Zach.
Cricket.
No. Alden.
Dang it.
Football.
Nope.
The other name for soccer.
It's back open to the floor. Zach.
Golf.
No. Zane.
That was invented in Scotland, I think.
Well, if maybe England perfected it.
Boxing.
I don't know.
Nope. Alden. It's to you, and then I'll give
It's
a
a
hint.
sport, a physical sport, wrestling. I don't know.
It's a sport. Incorrect. The hint is there are 6 players on each side of the Alden.
Hockey.
Hockey is correct.
Is it really?
Isn't that wild?
Wow.
Freaking England.
I just knew
Formalized
6, and I was
hockey.
like, it's got to be. My only thing that I knew was hockey, so
Yeah, that's crazy.
I would not have thought that was right.
No, I would not have either. All right, after one round, Alden has 5, audience has 3, Zane has 2, Zach has 1.
Oh my god, the audience is beating Zane.
The audience is beating Zane, and Zane's not in the audience. Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Or
What a-
is he?
What a great day! Yeah, are you some quack, Zane? Are you sitting there trying to get
So
answers
great.
to these things? All
He's
right.
At once.
He's what?
He's all the participants. He's everybody in chat.
Gosh, that
He's
was
omnipresent.
How busy Zane is.
Zach and Alden just weren't good enough competition, so I had to start making my own.
All right. These are questions all about cold places and cold times.
I thought you were going to say Coldplay. Like, they're all Coldplay questions.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yellow.
Yeah.
Clock.
Stars.
All right. Question number 1. What is the coldest inhabited place on Earth where temperatures can drop below 90 degrees Fahrenheit? I think that was Zane.
Wait, did you say coldest inhabited?
Coldest inhabited place on Earth.
Okay, because the definition of inhabited is a little bit squirrely. But if you're just talking about the coldest place where people are, then that would be the research base at the very South Pole, which I think is the Amundsen Scott Research Station.
All right, well, that's not what my research gave me. And that's actually not the answer to any question in this whole section.
Protest.
Alden,
Siberia,
I'm going to give it to you.
Tunguska or whatever.
Oymyakon, Siberia in Russia.
Yeah, my guess is going to be Russia.
Yeah.
That's a little more general.
Negative 90 degrees Fahrenheit, y'all.
Nothing.
All right. I mean, Antarctica, the deal with Antarctica is it's not anybody's country. It's not inhabited, technically. There's nobody that lives there full time.
Which is weird.
It has no permanent residence, which is why I gave that entire preamble about what is the definition of inhabited.
Yeah, which I would say Antarctica is not inhabited because no one stays there for longer than a couple months.
You're like not allowed to go there.
Yeah, no, it's
Antarctica's a
there's
weird place.
There's weird things there. All right.
Nephilim.
No.
Yeah.
The
Is that one of the
entrance to hollow
840 words you're not allowed to say? We're gonna get banned.
Yeah, we just got dinged again.
Yeah.
Oh, Brian, I think you spelled it right, Brian. Yakutsk.
Yakutsk.
I think that's how you spell it. Good job.
I used to always, that was my favorite spot on the map
And Risk.
to have in Risk. Yeah.
Yes. I just think of anytime I think of Siberia, I think of Yakutsk.
I used to like freak out as a kid when I would get that and Alaska and could be able to like go across the Bering Strait or whatever.
Yeah. This is a numbers question. Antarctica is home to the coldest recorded temperature on Earth. What was the lowest temperature ever recorded on the continent? Zach.
Negative 120 Fahrenheit.
Okay. Zane.
I'll go with minus a hundo.
Alden.
I'll go, I should just go like one higher than, or lower than Zach. So, but I'll go negative 140 Fahrenheit.
Zach gets it. Negative.
Dang it, I should have just went the 121.
6 degrees.
But you would have had to decide between 121 and 119. So,
Yeah.
still a chance.
Yep. All right. Question number 3. What is the name of the Russian research station in Antarctica where the lowest temperature ever recorded on Earth was measured? Alden.
Vodka.
Incorrect.
Damn
Zach.
it. I'm so sure.
Pierogies.
No.
That's Polish.
I was gonna say it might even be
Zane.
Polish.
See, my problem here is I've spent all my time thinking of an actual answer, but didn't come
Audience
up with
got
it.
it.
And
Vostok.
Whoa!
Nice. Oh, it's Steven.
Bravo, Stephen
Yeah.
Hilton. Getting one for the audience.
That's what I said, Vostok. I just had something in my throat when I said
you
it.
started with a V, I was like, oh my gosh, is he going to get this?
No.
All right.
Steven would have been here and blown our minds.
Yeah, seriously.
Who, by the way, he's out because he has a new baby.
New baby.
Yeah.
Everybody wish him well.
Congrats.
Yay. Brian says, when do we get to the trivia section on The Thing? I can probably
Yeah, there you
do
go.
that one probably.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
John Carpenter's, I don't know the new one well or the old one actually.
Good job. Thank you for that tidbit.
Yeah.
Question number 4. The ice-covered plateau of East Antarctica contains some of the coldest places on Earth. What is the average thickness of the ice in this region? Another numbers one. Alden.
2 miles.
Okay. Zach.
1 mile.
Zane.
0.99 miles.
He saw how that last one went. Yeah.
Zach gets it
Dang it.
again. All right. Wait a second. Man,
Zach, what would you have said before
swear
I said 2 miles?
Hang on.
I was
swear
always
keep
planning to
giving-
say 1 mile.
Oh, okay.
I keep giving somebody else's Zach's points to somebody else. Alden, how many have you gotten right this round?
Oh, I don't know.
One? I think one.
Few.
This round?
Oh, he was
Oh,
a
Zane, have you gotten any right this round?
Unfortunately, not.
we'll have to go back
keep
and
giving Zach
retroactively
stuff to
declare a winner.
All right, my bad, y'all. My bad. I'll be better. What is
Zach, change your name. Come on. This is an inconvenience.
This is a
Feel free to call
two-parter.
me Zach.
Sorry, Jay, go ahead.
This is a two-parter. You can get one or the other. One is a numbers thing, and one is
Not.
a place.
Yeah.
What is the coldest temperature ever recorded in the United States, and where did it occur? Let's do the number thing first.
Okay.
Alden, what's your pick?
I think if it matters, Zane beat me, but
All right, Zane, what's your pick?
Minus 80.
Okay. Alden,
minus 70.
Zach,
What did Zane say?
minus 80.
Heard -8, and I'm like, wow, he's really mad at this one.
He's lived in Florida his whole life or something.
-80. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I could be a jerk to Zane because he just did it to me, and I'll just say -81.
All right, well, Zane nailed it. It's minus 80.
Wow.
Dang it!
That's insane.
So Zane gets that point. And where's the town that it happened in? Zane.
I'll say Barrow
Where's that?
in Alaska.
Or northern Alaska.
Uh-huh.
Zach,
Dead Horse, Alaska.
Alden.
Is that a real place in Alaska? I
It's
mean,
the-
of course it is.
Yeah,
Both
I
of
think
y'all
so.
were in. Both of y'all are incorrect. My bad. I forgot we were doing the thing. Alden.
A town? I have
Yeah.
to know the town?
Yeah.
I don't know
Miami.
a lot of town. Haynes? I don't know a lot of towns.
I'll give you a hint because the town is tough. The first word of the town would have something to do with gold miners. Zach.
Handlers Junction.
No, but I love that guess. Zane.
Prospect Point.
I'm giving it to you. Prospect
Nice.
Creek is the
Nice.
actual place. Bravo. All right. After 2 rounds, Alden has 7. Audience and Zach are tied at 5, and Zane has 4. So Zane can
Still
close.
anyone's game.
technically Zane can still win, y'all. So don't
Here's
get
how I can still win.
All right. Question number 1 of round 3, worth 3 points. What is the primary purpose of the mushroom cap in the life cycle of a fungus? Zane.
To spread the spores.
I freaking got it.
Yeah.
He's already caught up.
Dang it, too. I should have just like been like as soon as you started talking, just because anyway.
That's what
We
I've
gotta
been doing.
beat Zane,
Do it.
you know.
Known for their fruity aroma, what is the name of the yellow-orange mushroom? Zach.
Chanterelle.
Chanterelle.
Nice.
Is
Nice.
correct.
Lots of them on my property.
Nice. Oh, really? Dude,
Yeah,
those things
I ate
are
a ton of 'em.
so good.
They're
Gosh,
very
I
good.
love those.
They're very expensive.
Yeah, but not if you get them in the wild.
That's actually the only place that you can't grow them
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
you
you
can't
can't
grow them. They
out
have
of the
to be
wild. You
Yeah.
have to harvest them,
Yeah.
by the way. Yeah.
Friendly reminder that mushrooms are not food. Shut your mouth, Brian. Mushrooms are
They're
definitely
aliens.
food.
Mushrooms are alien species.
I'm okay
Every
with
time you
ingesting
eat
aliens.
mushrooms, it's
Okay.
genocide. Yeah.
Still food.
I can live with that. All right.
So whoever gets this wins, and I think that includes the audience.
Wow.
If the audience gets it, they tie with Zach.
Okay.
All right.
Nice.
Final question. What is the name of the wild mushroom that is considered a delicacy and is often referred to as the diamond of the forest? I think it was Zach.
Yeah, Zach was first.
Yeah, it was definitely me because I started guessing before the question was asked.
Stop stalling
Right.
and
Diamond.
say a word.
How dare you see through me?
5,
The diamond of the forest
4,
is
3,
turkey tail.
2. The audience gets it.
What?
Truffle.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that.
Stalling worked. Stalling worked.
I would have said that like immediately after I had been recognized.
It's too bad.
Oh, that's so sad for you.
Woo! Good job, audience.
Good job, audience. Okay.
Everyone knows the real diamond of the forest is the Liberty Cap. You know?
Oh, so sorry, Zane. Oh, that's just a really rough loss for you.
There needs to be some penalties if you put your hand up immediately when they start talking and then you don't know the answer.
Spankings.
Did you,
The
what
only
would a
way I
virtual
can win
spanking
is by
look like?
hacking it.
Bravo, audience. Bravo, Zach. Good job. was
Instagram's gone.
Yeah, no, I'll get it back. Don't worry.
Okay,
Y'all
cool.
y'all chat. Let Zane vent for a minute. Zane,
Yeah.
what issues do you have?
I've got a lot of problems with you people.
What do you mean by you people?
Oh,
Mm.
hang on. I'm
Should
getting
we talk about
Zane-
magic mushrooms?
Ooh.
Go ahead.
Or will
Yeah.
that get us banned
So-
too? Probably.
It's one of the 837 words for sure.
Can't
I'm
say
sure,
magic
but-
mushrooms. Yeah.
Yeah. Can't say magic or mushrooms.
Yeah. Definitely not both. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever hunted for them, Alden? Like,
You know, I don't trust myself enough to identify them. I do not do that. Unless by hunting you mean asking people if they have some, then sure. Then I've hunted for them.
I will like pick and eat my own chanterelles, but there's
Chanterelle I
almost
have,
there's nothing that I could be mistaking it for, really.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah,
The
same with
chanterelle is
same with turkey tails. I go hunting for turkey tails, oyster, and lion's mane.
Oyster, lion's mane are pretty easy. Turkey tail I don't know as well.
Dude, turkey tail is the easiest one. There are no mushrooms that like poisonous ones that you can mistake for a turkey tail. Like
I'll find it.
Well,
I'll
there
find
is
a new
false turkey
species.
tail.
Perfect. Well, there's false
Yeah.
turkey
Is
tail,
that
but
what
they're
it
not.
does?
They're not poisonous. Is my point.
Okay, cool, nice.
Yeah, there's false turkey tail, but they don't do anything. It's just bland nothing.
Just gives you farts,
Mm.
you know.
No,
Yeah.
that would be considered poisonous.
Really?
Yeah, if it upsets your
girlfriend would say
stomach, it's
so,
considered
yeah.
poisonous. Yeah,
Right.
Mhm.
that's kind of the thing.
I have one here called Old Man of the Woods, where it looks kind of gross. It's very black, and I mean it's just black and white, really, and it gets like all warty. But apparently,
Yeah.
it's perfectly edible, but it will turn your food black.
Interesting.
So,
There's a black, like really dark looking one that looks like a piece of like old couch sofa foam that was like you found glued to a tree, and it's apparently really good.
So Brian says, "Show me where mushrooms are on the food pyramid," and we all know the government defines what food is and is never wrong. Correct. All right. This next one I got specifically for Alden. So I'm interested to see if you know about this conspiracy theory.
Oh, I know this guy. I probably do then. Is this
Perfect.
Ben Carson or Billy Carson then?
All right. Well, let's hit
I'm gonna
play.
take a bathroom break.
Realize
Real.
it's a Black Knight satellite, which is object that's still orbiting our planet
Oh,
right
yeah.
now. NASA, it's on NASA's server. They call it space junk. They don't know what it is. It's been there. The STS-88 mission did a flyby and caught a great HD image of this thing. It's about estimated 15 tons.
It's in our orbit,
Oh yeah, it's in our orbit.
so it's not far out. It's not outer space. It's
No, it's at Lagrange point 4, I believe,
Okay.
and it's orbiting out there, and it's still there. They won't mess with it because it makes no sense to mess with it. You don't know what type of self-defense system or mechanism this thing may have. But the reason why I think it's important, based on what you were telling me about the gentleman, is because I believe that this thing is watching us. That's what the whole documentary is about. And I have 20 incredible researchers in the document, including quantum physicists in the documentary with me, and astrophysicists. I think it's watching us, and I believe that it's using quantum entanglement to transmit everything in real time, what's going on Earth, back to home base at Boetis. And that this could be the grabby civilization that you're talking about, that is watching and making sure we don't get too crazy, because they don't want us to be a threat. They talked about us becoming a threat in the Sumerian tablets, in the myth of Adapa. They talked about it. They talked about it in the Atrahasis epic. They talked about it in the Epic of Gilgamesh. All these tablets, they talk about us potentially rising up and even superseding them, and making sure that we never found out that we don't need them.
Hmm.
I've definitely heard of this.
All right. So what do you know
Zane
about
left
that?
when we started getting into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
That's
He's been on
perfect.
forever.
Zane's ridiculous. Whatever.
Yeah, this is like the Watchtower satellite thing or whatever. And there's
So
oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
just because I knew nothing about this. Like I've never heard of this before until I came across this that video. So,
I spend a lot longer in the weirder corners of the internet. Yeah.
yeah. So can you just give me like a brief overview, a little more than what he talked about?
So they say that we've not like gone to it because, you know, we don't like need to or whatever, but I think someone probably knows what it is, or it's possible that they know what it is and they don't want to go to because they don't want you know, footage of it or whatever.
So
but.
do you think that like somebody?
Oh, I can't hear you, Jake.
Really? Again? How is
I
that?
can hear you.
Oh, Alden, can you hear me?
Nope.
Can you hear Zane? Zane, talk.
No
Hello.
sound.
You're fine, Jake. It's Alden.
Zane, say something.
It's you.
That video was complete BS.
Was it me?
Yeah,
I-
it's you.
That's not at all how quantum physics works.
I'm gonna have to leave and come back.
Okay, so why was it BS aside from you saying that's not how quantum physics works?
So when I was gone, I still had my headphones in, so I heard you guys insulting me. So thank you for that.
I knew you'd still hear that. I did it on purpose.
But generally, whenever you hear somebody talking about quantum physics and they are not a PhD in physics, you should be very careful about listening to what they have to say. Because people very often appeal to quantum physics because it's very philosophically interesting, even though they have no understanding of what it actually is. If you don't understand calculus, I do not trust you to understand quantum physics.
Fair.
I got
Fair.
a B in calculus.
Um,
I don't know what that says.
okay, so Alden, like, do you have a theory as to what it is? Like, is it something that
This specific
we put up there, or the
thing? No,
is
it's
an
too
alien?
big for us to have. Well, if you mean us, like in modern humans, then no, it's too big for us to have put it there. But
So
I wouldn't think.
you think it's been there longer than we've had the tech in order to put stuff?
Oh,
in
it's
place?
it's most certainly been there longer than. I feel like that with the size of it. I feel like that's. I don't know how they would sneak build something that size, like the Death Star level, you know, operation out there. Like, it's an older, you know, whether it's like, you know, rock or metal or I don't know, because we can't get like a, you know, a clear image of it, and I think that they don't want you to have a clear image of it. You know, it's weirder than that's in our orbit. The moon. Honestly, the moon is really strange in general. Just like the exactness of like we only see one face of it and it exactly eclipses the sun, and like there's so many exact things about it. The size of it relative to our planet is the biggest moon of any moon we've observed on any planet.
So what's your
as far as I know,
conspiracy
at least
theory
in our
with the
solar
moon?
system.
You think it's made
Again
of
with
cheese?
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You beat me to it. It was this novel idea that I had, but no, people.
Did you see the movie Moonfall? I feel like you would really like that movie.
No, it's a horrible movie. I did watch it. I kind of hate watched it, but some of the theories in it that they throw out, I think, are that kind of like CIA pre-programming stuff, where some of it might be true, some of it's wrong, you know, that kind of thing or whatever.
Alden watched Moonfall as if it was a documentary.
It's a documentary. No, it's a terrible movie. It's full of a bunch of propaganda BS in it, and there's a scene in I think it's that movie where, okay, so like there's this trend in movies now where like, you know, the hero drives an electric car, like that's the thing, you know, and like and the villains all drive like diesel pickups, like that's the thing, like I don't know, and that movie is just full of all kinds of just like propaganda.
I'm happy to be a villain in that movie. I'd be
Yeah.
fine with that. Yeah, give me that.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I've never taken calculus, and I would certainly fail it if I did. But it sounded like they were saying that they use quantum entanglement to communicate, which seems possible. So maybe Zane can make me feel stupid and tell me it's not. But it's like the two slit experiment shows us that, you know, whatever this crap is, an electron that's observed acts as a particle, but one that doesn't acts as a wave. So that's a way to transmit ones and zeros basically across any distance. it's quantum computing. So that doesn't prove, honestly, that that there's a space station watching us. But a little
Right,
nitpick
so-
at quantum entanglement. How dare you?
I mean, I guess it's not technically impossible, so maybe I overstated a little bit, but essentially what quantum entanglement is that you can have two particles where they have certain properties that you don't know what they are until you observe them. But what can happen is if you have two particles that are quantum entangled, then by observing one of the particles and nailing down exactly what its properties are, that also automatically gives you information about the properties of the other particle by the act of observing the first one. So technically, you can transmit information that way. And
you could like vibrate particles or something in a binary way or something.
And scientists have, communicated, tiny pieces of information, like 1 bit of information this way. So, I mean, I guess it's not theoretically impossible, but it would be so unlikely that whenever I hear somebody positing a theory this outlandish and then they invoke quantum physics to explain away how this is actually perfectly reasonable, that makes alarm bells go off in my head.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah,
fair enough.
I feel like the argument being made is that there's some civilization that might be like thousands of years or tens of thousands or 100,000, 1,000,000 years ahead of us that has this technology.
Yeah.
And we kind of see the beginnings of it. So we're not saying we understand how it works, but it's like we kind of get it. There's this thing called quantum entanglement, and that seems to be something that we could latch onto and figure out a way to do light speed communication.
Or a breakaway civilization.
Not even light speed, instant, actually. So
yeah.
I prefer the theory.
I feel like that's what's being said,
Earth.
but I agree with you, Zane, that this isn't happening almost certainly.
I prefer the theory.
When you invoke ancient texts like the Epic of Gilgamesh or whatever, the thing about ancient texts is that they're often talking about supernatural beings. And I'm not really convinced that you citing the Epic of Gilgamesh, that definitely is specifically talking about a satellite up in a specific satellite up in space that's using quantum entanglement to communicate. I don't believe that.
The way that there's like, I don't know why, but in the tablets that talk about like ancient, like Babylonian and like Sumerian history, there's a certain point from like, their most present point in civilization going back where everyone agrees that they're talking about history until a certain point, and then they call it myth on the same tablature, like on the same stories, the same timelines when they're talking about kings and their rule and their windows, and they have to basically do this because the lifespan of the kings gets longer after a certain point, and they're like, oh, humans can't live that long, so it must be myth or whatever. But that's the only difference across the timeline where they separate on the same, basically in the same historic record. All of a sudden it just becomes myth. And
lots of civilizations have this, like the traditional genealogy of the Japanese emperors. If you trace it all the way back to the first one, it's a guy that almost certainly didn't actually exist, and then it goes down and down until you get to people that, probably did exist. And there are ways that historians and archaeologists can suss this out. And, maybe their methods are sometimes not the greatest or driven by an agenda. But I'm going to assertively state that if somebody is living for multiple centuries, that probably didn't really happen.
The last thing I'll say on it for now, just because like you guys are not the ones to talk to about this kind of stuff, but is that, and this will be like I'll tie this in better when we do our like the 9/11 episode or whatever. But when we were in Iraq, there's footage of this, by the way, too. The Army, the U.S. military, went into multiple different sites like museums and took a bunch of tablature and like the cuneiform documented, events and sculptures and things like that, and was like, oh, to protect it or whatever, so it doesn't get damaged, and never returned it, of course.
Of course. No.
And the site of Gilgamesh was like, archaeologists were saying that they think that they might have found the tomb of Gilgamesh, and this was in 2002. Well, we were still there, and I'm pretty sure the army took over that site too, which is just interesting. If they're interested in it, then they tend to be pretty logical thinkers and pragmatic as an institution, and I question why they are interested in it.
Fair. I'm going to give a reminder to two of our regulars, Brian and Mac. If y'all want to go over and subscribe to us on Rumble and join the comment section there, that's
because with what we're talking about,
far better place to be than YouTube. So,
and who knows how long we'll be on YouTube.
All right, Zach, let's go listen to a little clip from Donald J. Trump.
Or not.
Or we can just stare at this guy.
Yeah,
which I'm also happy with.
Tonight, I'm also making another promise to protect Americans from government tyranny. As your president, I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency. You know about that? I didn't know you know so much. Very well, New Hampshire, very smart people. Very current. You know what? Such a currency would give a federal government, our federal government, the absolute control over your money. They could take your money, you wouldn't even know it was gone. It would be a dangerous threat to freedom, and I will stop it from coming to tonight. I'm also making another promise to protect.
He still got it. I forgot how funny he is and how much I miss his figures of speech.
His antics.
All right, so first off, on for face value, that sounds great. The question is, does he have the ability to stop it? And if he did, would he actually stop it?
I don't think it's about that as much as now you just got every liberal ever in favor of this instead of, you know what I mean? Like you just by getting him to say it, I think it's more of just like a tactic to.
You're really on the reverse Trump train tonight. Like whatever Trump does, you think the opposite.
I don't care. Reaction. I'm just saying what the media is going to do.
No, I know. I get it.
The media was already on this, and if you polled Democrats who had ever heard of that, I'm sure they'd all be all in favor of it because they're all in favor of whatever the Fed tells them.
Exactly.
So I think that, I'm taking a much more white-pilled perspective on this, which is that here Trump having that be part of his stump speech means that conservatives really care about it in the correct way. Like the way that bad change usually happens is that there's a group of people that wants it really bad, and then there's a group of people that kind of doesn't want it but doesn't really care or isn't very informed about it. And when it happens, they don't put up a fight because they have no idea what's going on. The fact that he just got that he felt the need to bring it up and everybody was cheering means that, the flag has gone up to the conservatives that this is something that needs to be opposed. And like your average Republican knows what a central bank digital currency is. That is a huge win and much more important than your average Democrat being in favor of it.
That's a really good perspective. That didn't even cross my mind.
I have a question though. What is white pill as a term?
White pill is like hopeful, like
okay,
hope for the future.
I only know the like red pill term.
Yeah, red pill, blue pill, black pill, right. White pill, and
black
pill.
One fish,
okay. Two fish.
Yeah,
exactly. Orange pill, people say is Bitcoin, but that one makes the least amount of sense. The other four make sense.
Trump's face color pill,
but people misuse these. People it drives me nuts.
I know the whole pill thing.
Because I've heard Rogan say red pill just talking about people joining the Republican Party, and it just drives me.
See, someone mentioned
nuts.
The Matrix in the comments, and so when this was first a thing, it was about not just believing what you're told, you know what I mean, and like going down the rabbit hole and like looking deeper. It didn't necessarily have a political sort of like, affiliation or association, and now it's just been sort of like hijacked, but it's frustrating.
Yeah, no, it's very frustrating. Brian says, take all the pills at once and see what happens.
The rainbow of pills.
Stephen also said, didn't he get some presidential control over the Treasury during COVID? Is that true?
I have no idea. I'm just here to talk about space watchtowers.
I don't know, Stephen. That seems like what you should be on this show to discuss.
Yeah, you should be here to tell us. Yeah.
The funny thing about Trump saying that he's going to protect us from government tyranny is that he was the biggest enabler of government tyranny, probably at least in my lifetime. I'm not going to say that I mean, there's no excuse for him not firing Fauci immediately and giving cover to all the governors to declare states of emergency. So even if he wasn't the one personally exercising the tyranny, he could have stopped it, but didn't. So at this point, you obviously can't trust Trump to do anything. You just need to derive entertainment and satisfaction from Trump saying stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, he is so funny to watch, like, do his speeches. Just the things that come out of his mouth are hilarious. So yeah, you're right. I don't know. Yeah, I do like your thoughts on the fact that he felt like he needed to bring it up and that so many people started cheering for it in that moment. Because 10 years ago, 5 years ago, that would never have been something that anyone had any idea could possibly happen, or if it could happen, no one had any idea like what that would actually mean. So
yeah,
it's very interesting. I like that thought process.
I tend to think presidential candidates and presidents are just told what to say half the time, and I'm not convinced that Trump is like so much like outside of the system. Like he's kind of painted to be like this like outlier kind of like zany character that's just like, oh, he's gonna drain the swamp, you know. Like I really think it's possible that he's kind of, and like why he would keep Fauci on is like it's part of the plan, you know. I don't know.
How dare you? How dare you not say Trump is his own man and he's going to just destroy the system from within?
He's our savior.
Yeah.
Who was that guy that was on here last or like 2 weeks ago that was like really
oh, in the comment section
talking up Trump or whatever? Yeah. There was like a guy.
Goodness gracious.
A self-proclaimed pundit.
A pundit, yeah.
Yeah, which,
I don't. Yeah, if he's here, I don't want to just. But
no, he's not. He's not ever going to watch this show again.
Probably not.
That was that whole conversation.
He was pretty far up Trump's ass, honestly.
Yeah, the Trump, what are they calling it? Trump like savior syndrome or Trump fanatic syndrome or whatever it is just as
Trump
real as Trump
Jesus
derangement syndrome.
Like, yeah.
Yeah,
it's too far on the other side. Yeah.
Trump has secretly been president this whole time doing 5D chess behind the scenes. Yeah, you're nailing it, Brian. All right. I'm going to bring up our next topic, which actually falls very much in line with what we were just talking about. Which is JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon, who has just been all over the map recently. He's been driving me up a wall. Says Satoshi may erase Bitcoin supply limit, backs tokenizing things you do something with.
There's so much wrong in one simple headline.
So much wrong in one simple headline. So throughout this whole thing, basically,
can you even do that?
No.
To Bitcoin? Yeah, that's what okay.
Physically impossible.
Okay. So
he also spelled Satoshi wrong.
Yeah. It's Satoshi, not Satoshi.
It sounds like someone from like Brooklyn saying it or something.
He also at one point said, what is it? I don't care, so please just stop talking about this shit. He said he equated Bitcoin with the pet rock.
What?
Yep.
In what way?
Dimon referred to the second type of cryptocurrency as the one that does nothing. He said, I defend your right to do Bitcoin. I don't want to tell you what to do. It's a free country. Basically, so he's done some very sketchy things recently. One of them was he told everybody who worked at JP Morgan that if they got involved at all with Bitcoin and he found out about it, they would be fired.
Oh, yeah. And
within the month, Bitcoin went down 24%, at which point his subsidiaries in Europe bought millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been manipulating the market been trying to drive down Bitcoin so that he can buy it, while at the same time still talking crap about Bitcoin. So he's just a jerk. He's just a twat. And he drives me nuts. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on it, Zane?
You pretty much covered it.
Beautiful. Yeah. So, I mean, the thing you can take from it is don't listen to Jamie Dimon, buy more Bitcoin.
Don't trust your banks.
And don't trust your banks. Exactly. All right. Let's get to the primary topic of the evening. I was hoping Shane would be here by now, but he's not. And so we're going to get to it anyway. Javier Milei went to the World Economic Forum. This is the entire video of him speaking, which is 22 minutes long. We are not going to play this. I'm going to switch to a different clip and we're going to play that. But Elon Musk tweeted this out. It has over 40 million views at this point. It's a 22-minute long speech of him talking about how socialism is the death of the world and capitalism is the savior of the world. So it's a fantastic listen. He nails it. You can watch it, you can listen to it, whatever. But we're going to go over to this one. So this is Klaus Schwab last week.
Anti-system movement. What we are seeing is a revolution against the system. So fixing the present system is not enough. Now there is, of course, an anti-system, which is called Libertarianism, which means to tear down everything which creates some kind of influence of government into private lives. It's dismantling the system.
Which sounds great. And then here's
what is it? What is it that we mean when we talk about libertarianism? And let me quote the words of the greatest authority on freedom in Argentina, Professor Alberto Venegas Lech Jr., who says that libertarianism is the unrestricted respect for the life project of others, based on the principle of non-aggression, in defense of the right to life, liberty, and property. Its fundamental institutions being private property, markets free from state intervention, free competition, the division of labor, and social cooperation, as part of which success is achieved only by serving others with goods of better quality or at a better price. In other words, capitalists, successful business people are social benefactors who, far from appropriating the wealth of others, contribute to the general well-being.
So there you go. I like what both of them are saying right there, actually. We talked about Klaus Schwab's statement last week, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And this week, it's Javier Milei literally talking the exact opposite of what everybody does at the World Economic Forum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did anybody watch the whole video?
No, not yet.
No.
Zach, did you watch the whole one yet? Oh, man. Yo, it's 22 minutes. I got to go watch it. It's so good. He's like perfect from beginning to end.
Doing this show, it forces me to be so much more like up to date. I usually find things like 2 months after they happen.
Gotcha.
I'll know who won the Super Bowl, like, next year. Like,
no, the NFL already knows who won the Super Bowl, though.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I see.
No, we're not getting into the Super Bowl yet. We can get to that later on. Yeah, I thought you don't really see like they invite tons of people to the World Economic Forum, and most of the time, if it's somebody who opposes generally what the WEF is about, they will tame their speech and to kind of temper it to not be so hostile against socialism and government intervention and all this stuff. He did not do that one single time. And yeah, Steven says
he doesn't look like one to
the whole
pull
Milei
punches.
Video. Good night,
Yeah.
Steven.
Night, bud.
I'm surprised that halfway through his speech, they didn't get out one of those shepherd's crooks and pull him off the stage.
What's funny is like normally Klaus Schwab is up there in one of those chairs nearby.
Yeah.
He did not go up there for this one.
He didn't want a chainsaw to come out or something. Isn't Milei the one that like does the chainsaw thing sometimes, like at his campaign rallies or whatever?
Yeah, it is. But Yeah, I mean, there's so many people out there who think that Javier Milei is some type of plant, that now he's going to do things in favor of socialism or further the agenda of the WEF and all this
Who
crap.
says that, really?
Yeah, oh, there's tons
I've not
of
heard
people.
that yet.
Tons of people. Basically, people who are black-pilled and have no hope in the future.
Okay. And now I know what you mean by that.
I think I've heard Toad saying something like that. When he comes to the presidential debate, I need to ask him a question about why is he being such a stick in the mud about Milei.
Perfect. You should definitely quote him like word for word, though. Find that quote, find out where he said that. Yeah, I just find it extremely interesting that he went there and made this speech and that they allowed him to make this speech.
See, that is interesting that they allowed him to, and they kind of like paved the way for that. If I'm more worried about anything, it's that he's going to get assassinated or something. I don't know. Like if if I was to like go black pill or whatever, like I don't necessarily think he's a plant. He doesn't strike me as such.
Well, I 100%. I mean, he's already gotten rid of many government institutions.
A fuego. Is that the video where he was doing the...
Yeah. Like, you can't be a plant at the same time destroying the thing that you're supposedly a
That'd
plant.
be a really counterintuitive plan.
Like, I guess if they pop back up over the next couple of years while he's still in office, then maybe you could make the argument. But I've literally seen nothing to insinuate or show that he is not who he says he is.
Yeah.
Because Zach has done more research on him than anybody. He's been following him for years. He says like he is a full-on Austrian economist, has been doing this for a very long time, and this is exactly what he believes.
Yeah.
The WF just doesn't care. They're openly supervillains and don't mind if the common people know it.
Yeah.
Brian, you're crushing it tonight, man. You've had some great comments. And yes,
for a good, supervillain, they need everyone to have hope. So he's doing this to instill hope in people. So it means more when they crush us.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. Zane, do you have any other thoughts on what he was saying and just the whole thing that's happening down in Argentina?
No.
Okay. That was easy.
Yeah.
I was hoping to talk about that with Shane because Grumpy, as Grumpy just said, Shane said something like that on his podcast where he thought Milei might be a plant. So I was hoping Shane would be on tonight, but it'll be next week then. So
I'm curious to see what Argentina does, like as kind of like a case study here for the world.
Yeah. Yes.
If he gets that far, like I'd be really excited to see how it goes.
I completely agree. Yeah, and like I said before, like we need to be rooting for him and doing whatever we can to make sure people know about him. And like I don't know, so far he's living up to his word and doing exactly what he said he was going to do, or at least making strides in that direction. So
yeah, bring him up at Thanksgiving. Your families will love
it. Okay. I don't have any other big topics tonight. I have like a series of 5 or 6 varying topics, and this is one of them.
Heard of a game called Werewolf?
No.
Everyone gets
I just watched this.
Either got villager written on it, but 2 have the word werewolf. Someone runs the game to make sure no one's cheating, and they go, okay, it's nighttime, everyone close your eyes. Werewolves choose someone to kill, and the werewolves go. They say, okay, everyone close your eyes, it's morning time, open them again. During the night, Francis was killed. There's then a conversation, and this is where it gets interesting, between all the villagers and the 2 werewolves over who the werewolves are. Then at the end of the day, the villagers have to decide who they're going to kill, and they say, well, we're going to kill Constantine. It's revealed by the person running the game, I'm afraid Constantine was a villager. And the game continues. The villagers win the game if they kill both werewolves. The werewolves win the game if they kill all but 2 villagers. And the werewolves usually win. The game was invented by a student of sociology in Russia who wanted to prove his thesis that an uninformed majority will always lose a battle of information against an informed minority. So that just shows when you have hidden information, you can completely manipulate a large group of people. Have you ever heard?
I just saw that. Oh, go ahead, Zane.
I love that one.
This is very similar to Mafia. I'm
That's
pretty
what
sure it's
yeah.
the same game, just with a different name.
It is essentially,
And
yeah.
it is an interesting premise where they're trying to layer in the like secret information and the informed minority versus the uninformed majority.
Yeah.
I think that part of the reason why it's so hard to win Mafia as a villager is just the sheer probability of if you're executing somebody at random every time, because honestly it's probably really hard to actually figure out who the Mafia or the werewolves are.
I was going to bring up the statistics.
If you're just killing somebody at random every time, then really 2 people are dying every round because you're killing somebody and the Mafia is killing somebody too.
I liked it as a metaphor.
It's hard to in the very likely scenario that you never get around to actually executing the person you're supposed to, it's very hard to win. I mean, it is a very good metaphor. I'm not sure I buy that that's the exact mechanism how it happens. But.
Right. I do think it's a good, like, simple demonstration of if you have information and you're in the minority, you can make moves. Like, it might not be a perfect metaphor or perfect analogy, but it has some validity to it, which I find very interesting.
I liked the metaphor, but because I just understand like the statistics of it like enough that I'm like I feel like there are holes in it, and I think if you really were to like lean on this as your like whole case for like like I wouldn't do that, because I do think the probability of it is just in favor of the Mafia or the werewolves or whatever.
Yeah,
it's kind of like go ahead.
The other problem with the game Mafia is that I very rarely ever get to have an interesting role. So then I just get really bored because I'm a villager every time and I do nothing except die at the end.
I never like those games. I hate playing those games. Any game where you have to like act and like, I don't know. I hate those. Like my family plays those at our family reunions, and I just
really,
I hate it so much.
You'd rather play Settlers of Catan.
Just give me Settlers of Catan, where I can just straight lie to your face and destroy you behind your back,
and just pillage you for all your sheep that you're worth. Like,
yeah. I don't need to be acting. I can
you
just
trade rate,
not say a thing.
Wait, how exactly do you lie to people in Catan? Do you just pretend that you have resources that you actually don't, or
and vice versa?
Resources you actually do?
Yeah. It's bluffing essentially, like,
or just say, I'm nowhere near being able to get the longest road, even though I have 5 roads in my hand at that time.
This face down development card totally isn't the victory point.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going super nerd right now. I love it.
Speaking of super nerd, do you know the like another like a statistical thing that's kind of like similar to this, but like the intuition is not there for it, like, so people tend not to. But I think that like on game shows where it's like, you pick a door or whatever, and then, it's like you narrow 3 doors down to 2. They say you should always then, if you're given that second option, to like pick again between the 2, that you should, because now it's a 50% chance as opposed to a 33% chance or whatever. Even though people get
multi-hall problem.
Yeah.
The idea so like if there are 3 doors, 2 of which have a goat behind it,
the goat
one of
thing,
which has a car. Obviously, you want to open the door with the car, but you can choose which door you want, and then the host, Monty Hall, opens one of the other 2 doors that has a goat behind it. So now there are only 2 doors, one of which has a car, one of which has a goat. The probability that you pick the one with the car the first time is still the same as it was before, which is 1 out of 3.
Yeah.
But now that there's only one other door, it means that if you switch to the other door when you have the opportunity to, that actually has a 2/3 chance of it having the car behind it and not the goat. The easiest way, people really don't like that explanation because they think it's weird. But the easiest way to think about this is imagine instead of 3 doors, there are 100 doors.
Right.
Yeah, so Brian
there you go.
anticipated what I was going to say, where you pick 1 door out of 100, and then Monty Hall opens 98 doors with the goat. And so now there's only one other door.
That's a lot of goats.
What's the chance that you really picked the one door with the car the first time versus he opened up every other door with the goat and the only one that's left has the car?
But the math is, well, not the same, but similar in that the function
principle.
is the same.
People get, like, I've seen the most heated arguments about this particular topic. People get so furious about, you should not change doors. Like, it doesn't.
But that's like an
sense.
emotional thing.
Emotional.
Because if you, this is, I think, why. So we started with statistics, but now we'll tie it in, to something more like the, either just, I guess, the emotion of it or whatever. It feels worse to have had it, right? If you did pick it and learn that you moved, even if you have a better chance, than to have stayed with it and then learn that it's the other one, because it's an inaction versus an action that you took, and you didn't, quote, have it, in your mind. You think you'd let it go. Like, anyway, it's harder to lose something that you've had. Why can't people
apply that logic to government programs where it's easier to do nothing than to do something? So let's just do nothing about guns.
But it kind of does apply to government programs, because once it's in place, it's harder to let go of it. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. Then
so in this way, it does kind of like.
Yeah, in that way. But let's do it before the government.
Right. Yeah, this is always the problem. Yeah. Can we do we need the Patriot Act still? Like, maybe we just get rid of that? Like,
Zach's trying to log back on yet again. I wonder if he'll make it in the room this time. All right. Zane, apologies. There's going to be another conspiracy thing. It's one of those nights, man. Here we go.
Okay, this is a bit creepy. Let me know what you guys think. So, why does NASA have all these old school cars? My thoughts are they're cars without computers in them. All from the 1970s. They're preparing for an EMP blast. What's odd is they're not just old school NASA cars.
Yeah, he goes on for a while. But yeah, found that.
I haven't seen that.
Super interesting.
I'd actually believe that. Because if you were trying to prepare for an EMP blast, I'm not saying that's definitely what they were doing, but it would be a perfectly reasonable thing to have cars with no computers in them if you still want to be able to drive.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, the possibility of an EMP blast is kind of in the popular consciousness, though. It's just we all choose to ignore it because of how terrible the consequences would be if it really happened.
It's NASA, though. So in the zeitgeist, in the sort of the population's mind eye, an EMP is most likely to come from a nuclear weapon, probably. But NASA is got all these cars that don't have computers. And my thinking of this is more that it's going to be a geomagnetic and solar event kind of related. Yeah. And for as far as EMP type effects go. And so I think it's interesting that NASA is the institution that has this, and not like just some other random, government agency or something.
Yeah, I agree. That was my thought too. Like, I don't think they're preparing for an EMP blast. I think they're preparing for a solar flare
which would have an EMP effect, but it wouldn't be from what we think of again as an EMP attached. What's behind the EMP blast? Yeah. Yeah,
I found that super interesting, which is why I would love to own a car from the 70s or prior.
But you chose to buy a Tesla.
No, we wrecked it. It's gone.
No, I know, but
I didn't choose to buy anything.
Oh, okay.
That was before I met Nick.
Oh, that was hers? You inherited the Tesla, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
yeah, because I would much rather have like an old Bronco 2 or something.
Give me like a 1970s Ford truck, 1960s Ford truck.
That's 72. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good year for trucks.
That'd be great.
No.
I like the Ford F-250.
You can just put.
Wait a minute,
in it, man?
I have an Apple Play rant that came up this week. I am so frustrated with fucking Apple. Okay, I never update my phone. I fucking hate it because every time I do, I've never been like, thank God I updated my phone. Now I have this new wonderful feature. No, there's some arbitrary thing. What's that?
You're a Luddite.
Oh, well. Yeah, I'm a dinosaur. I'm a Luddite. But
So what feature did you lose this time?
So, okay, now Apple decided you can't choose an album or an artist while you're driving. You can only choose music by genre. Why? It's the same, pushing the same. And if they're like, oh, it's a safety thing, so they don't want you distracted driving. You know how long I spent hitting the grayed out thing because I didn't know and it used to work? Like, that's more dangerous. I spent like an hour driving back from Atlanta pushing buttons. Anyway. And the only reason I had to update my phone is because Apple Wallet, it let me receive money from someone when I sold a desk or some stupid thing. And it was like, yeah, you can put that money in your wallet. And then I went to take it out of the wallet and put it in my bank account. And it's like, nope, you got to do an update to do that step. Fucking Apple.
Yeah. Just
over
do
it.
Bitcoin.
Well, that's, yeah. But aside part of this or whatever, but I still wanted to rant about how Apple sucks. Yeah.
All right.
I hate Apple. That's my Apple rant for the day.
I'm not the biggest fan of Apple CarPlay, but it's getting better than it used to be. It used to be really freaking annoying, and now it's much better. But anyway, when we did trivia, we had that. Good night, Grumpy.
Night, Grumpy. He stayed just for my rant.
He did. When we did trivia, we had that fungus section. And this is what made me think of it, was this video.
There's a fungus among us.
Yes, there
is. This the network that it found the smartest path thing?
Hey, how about that?
Yeah. Mold. And this slime mold is very, very good at navigating through mazes and challenges. Japanese are so clever at this. They designed a nutrient maze replicating Tokyo in the Japanese subway system. Put oats, which is a nutritional source, they can aggro map. The main oat was where Tokyo was. They inoculated it. Then they let the slime mold grow. And first it grew out randomly. After 28 hours, it reorganized itself in the most efficient way possible and reorganized the Japanese subway system in a more efficient manner than it's designed today. Thus, this is a demonstration of cellular intelligence.
Whoa.
There's a
so cool.
Yeah. I mean, freaking neat. And I actually found some slime mold while I was mushroom hunting the other day, which is pretty cool.
It was in your pants.
Ew.
Sure. Yeah, we'll say that. Man, I just thought that was really, really cool. That was like an experiment they did.
Yeah.
Like test out to see what would the best solution be for our public transportation system. And they used that mold to
the efficiency of it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Zane is unimpressed and almost laughing at us right now.
No,
Zane's like, I could think of a better route. Yeah.
No, I think that this is really awesome. I'm just thinking here, imagining how much better the Soviet Union would have fared had they thrown out their central planning boards and replaced it with a slime mold.
Oh, man. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I didn't have much to say about it. I just thought it was really cool.
No, that's fascinating.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. I think mold and fungus and mycelium and mushrooms are all extremely misunderstood.
Yeah.
Because so many people I talk to, when I say like, yeah, I'll find mushrooms in the woods and me and my wife will eat them or turn them into a tea. The quote they always come back with is like their parents told them, do not ever eat a mushroom.
Well, when you're a kid and you don't know what's what and you see the red and white pretty one,
Well, yeah, but
still better to just teach a kid what's right and what's wrong.
There you go.
I agree with that though.
Yeah. 100%.
Unless it's a 2-year-old, then it's like, don't put that in your mouth.
Yeah. Well,
I still think it's better to just err on the side of like,
if you're 2, then maybe. Yeah. But as they get older, how about you learn about what's actually like?
Yeah,
I do agree though.
Yeah.
I taught my little niece. We go mushroom hunting all together all the time. Anytime she comes over, she wants to. It doesn't matter what the season is.
Nice.
Half the time I had to explain to her, it's like, well, they're not out right now.
Yeah.
But then like we'll just be walking around and she'll see a mushroom and be like, don't eat that one. We don't know what it is. Like, yeah, that's exactly right. Don't eat ones you don't know what it is.
That's that's a good rule. Don't eat the ones you don't know what it is, because but you have to make sure they're at an age where like they can know what it is and can't identify
Yeah,
it, I guess.
but you it's not only identifying it. Like like Nikki has this whole process on, like, there's multiple different ways to confirm what mushroom it is. And so, like, depending on the spore print, the color of the spore print, like the gills, the
gills,
all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, that's what's underneath the
Some of them
cap or
it's
whatever.
Like oyster mushrooms have gills. Turkey tails have what?
The classic,
Pores.
just like
Turkey tails have
portobello
pores, yeah.
has tons of gills, like all in it.
Yeah.
Which I have two notes about portobello. One is when you're cooking portobello mushrooms, if you're going to grill it, you scrape the gills out because they're full of water and they make it all soggy or whatever. So you carve out the gills and then it cooks beautifully. So for anyone that's not doing that, it's worth taking a spoon and just rubbing it out, and it'll grill a lot better.
You just changed my life. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
I need to do that with the oyster mushrooms because they're just a soggy mess.
If they're going, like, if you're going to put them in a soup, it doesn't matter because it's all going to take on water anyway. But if you're going to grill it or something like that, or fry it in the pan, then the gills have so much water content in them, it ruins
That's exactly what happened the last 3 times I cooked oysters. It's
just
turned into a watery mess.
It's because they stew instead of fry, because they start in a steam bath and they get all mushy. Yeah, so take the gills out. The other thing is on portobello specifically, that same guy, was it Paul Stamets or whatever his name was? He was in that same interview. Joe Rogan asked him something about portobello mushrooms, and he went like all stone cold. Have you seen this? Like where he wouldn't answer.
Yeah.
And he was like, "There's a few things that if you ask me, I'm not going to answer." And he's like, "I get too much heat about it." I think magic mushroom kind of questions where he was a little weird about.
Yeah.
But portobello, he apparently is like, I don't want to talk about portobello because it's the mushroom that everyone eats, and I think that there's something that he finds not that nutritional about it or whatever. But
or it could be that you're able to make explosives out of it.
Out of portobello mushrooms.
That's the theory I've heard, is that there
Really?
may be some chemical in there you could distill down and make high explosive.
Oh, okay.
But
So
I don't know. I'm not
he
the
talks
expert like he
about
is.
his lab getting the Black Hawk helicopters like hovering over his lab before, and everyone had to like leave work and scatter and all of that. And he's had some weird stories, but
yeah.
Our next aid package to Ukraine should just be $50 million worth of portobellos.
Max liking your mushroom talk, man.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, go watch his thing on it. Like, I think he's got 2 now. He's got another one with Rogan that I still need to watch. But
he has 2 now.
Imagine being such a baller about mushrooms that you get to go on Rogan twice
with a mushroom hat the first time. That was like a fungus.
That's all he ever wears.
But the second one, I don't think he's wearing it. That's why I saw a clip of it and he wasn't wearing it. And I think that's how I just like guessed he had a second one. But
interesting,
because he wasn't wearing the hat.
Well, y'all, we're to the funny stage of the night. I only have 3 videos. They're all funny, just so you know. Just
okay. Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Here's the first one. Let me. Goddammit. It got way too big. No.
So let's see it then.
It's friggin' huge. That's better. Okay, there you go.
Oh man.
Just watch the cow.
Yeah. Cow's moving. Whoa. Oh my god.
We gotta watch that one again. That cow had no sense of where it was.
Man.
I hope it's okay.
This is the origin of the story. The cow jumped over the moon. Someone watched a cow do this. Like,
it's not.
That's crazy.
Oh my gosh. I thought that was wild.
They should check it for mad cow disease.
Seriously. All right. This is a much shorter one.
Insult to injury. Classic.
Oh man, I thought that one was so daggum funny. All right, the final one of the evening. Here we go.
Nurse on deathbed claims she swapped more than 5,000 babies.
This is like my greatest fear.
Nurse on deathbed claims she swapped more than 5,000 babies.
That went a totally different way than I thought.
Nurse.
So good. So freaking good.
That was great.
Oh my gosh.
If
All
you
right,
had
y'all.
twins,
Yeah.
be honest, not fraternal twins, identical twins.
Yeah.
Would you be afraid that you would mix them up? Like, and does it matter? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yes, I'd be afraid of that, and no, it doesn't matter.
But if it doesn't matter, then you shouldn't be afraid of it. Paradox.
I'm afraid of plenty of things that don't matter.
Irrational
I have a
fear.
brother 7 years older than me, and my mom still mixed us up.
Alden, I'm afraid of like the Cowboys making the playoffs again, and that doesn't matter.
Oh man, did your heart get broken like mine?
Yeah, your heart was always going to get broken. The Steelers suck.
Yeah, they're terrible.
The Cowboys.
I don't know how they got in.
Freaking 12-4.
Who let them in?
12-5, whatever we were. I mean, what a joke of a freaking. Oh my gosh.
Was it like 48 points or something stacked against them? Or?
It was 27-0 with 1 second left in the first half.
Oof.
Then we scored a touchdown. It was.
That's brutal.
It's just Dak Prescott. That dude's never going to win a Super Bowl. I've said this a million times. He's so bad. He's the new Tony Romo. He just chokes in the biggest moments and has the giant contract for no freaking reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. But your Steelers lost. The only solace I got was that the Eagles got walloped by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield, which was awesome.
Yeah. They've been doing all right.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, we got anything else we need to talk about, Zach, before we cut out?
No, I think we're all good. Just come see us at convention next week.
Yeah, next week, y'all. We'll do one more Liberty Libations before the convention, but it'll be 1 day prior. So get your tickets now. Spike, you can go shoot guns with Spike Cohen and Chase Oliver on Friday, a week from tomorrow, from 10 to 2. Go get your tickets. I think there are 2 remaining. You can go have dinner with Spike that same evening at the convention location. And then the next day we have tons of great speakers. We're going to have lots of people there. It's going to be a really good time. So, get your tickets, $75 for the whole weekend. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, that'll do it. Didn't have a Free Georgia podcast this week. Didn't get coordinated with the guest in time. So we'll do that next week, and maybe we'll stack up 2 at some point in the near future to make up for that one. So that'll do it for tonight, y'all. Alden, Zane, Zach, thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. All right, y'all. We'll see you next week.
Cheers.
Peace.